Alright guys, the 30 Years of WrestleMania roster is now being revealed, and the roster so far is looking phenomenal. So I'll put the full roster in the video description for you to check out. But now let's go through each superstar and determine which matches we may see in the 30 Years of WrestleMania mode. First up we have Alberto Del Rio, who comes complete with Ricardo Rodriguez, who even has a bucket with him that he carries to ringside. Judging by the fact that Jack Swagger wasn't announced for WrestleMania mode, it would appear that Alberto's inclusion is for his match against Edge at WrestleMania 27, which was Edge's last televised match before his retirement, so I think that's a great choice to get things started. Next we have Andre the Giant, who we already know is confirmed for his match with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 3. The Animal, Batista, is next, and I'd guess that his WrestleMania match will be against Triple H for the World Heavyweight Championship at WrestleMania 21. Then there's also the possibility of his match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 23, although there's no sign of Undertaker's long-haired model for that match, but there is a chance that we'll see his WrestleMania 26 match against John Cena for the WWE Championship. Big John Studd looks to be included for his match with Andre the Giant at the very first WrestleMania. The Big Show's current model is next, which I would guess is for his WrestleMania 25 match against Edge and John Cena for the World Heavyweight Championship, as his other opponents at WrestleMania that he faced after shaving his head on the WrestleMania roster. However, the retro version of the Big Show looks to be from WrestleMania 2000, when he had the Big Nasty Bastard t-shirt, which looks to be a little more PG friendly in the game. Bret the Hitman Hart is in, complete with his glasses and his jacket during the entrance for his WrestleMania 9 match against Yokozuna. Then there's the current day Brock Lesnar for his match with Triple H. However, Brock once again doesn't have any logos on his shorts due to advertising. The retro Brock Lesnar in black trunks is also included for his match at WrestleMania 20 with Bill Goldberg. Chris Jericho's current model with his light up jacket is in, presumably for his WrestleMania match against CM Punk. Then there's also the retro Chris Jericho in his WrestleMania X8 attire for his Undisputed Championship match with Triple H. CM Punk comes complete with his GTS Hoody, which is likely to feature in matches against Jericho at WrestleMania 28 and The Undertaker at WrestleMania 29. Diesel is up next, and he could be included for matches with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 11 or The Undertaker at WrestleMania 12. Then we'll have Edge in his WrestleMania 22 attire for his hardcore match with Mick Foley. Goldberg is another huge name announced for the game for his match with Brock Lesnar, and it was announced during the stream that we'll also get the backstage cutscene of having the producer knock on the dressing room door during his entrance, so that's something that I really can't wait to see. Following Goldberg is another former WCW star, Hollywood Hulk Hogan, who actually rips his shirt during his entrance, with the animation looking really good, as it seems that 2K have really stepped up things for the new entrances this year, something that anyone that's seen Daniel Bryan's entrance yesterday will know. Back to Hogan though, and he's in there for the Icon vs Icon match with The Rock at WrestleMania X8. Then there's the classic Hulk Hogan, who is also included for his match against Andre the Giant at WrestleMania 3. JBL is another previously confirmed name who is included for his WrestleMania 21 match with the retro John Cena, who is up next and could also be included for his US Championship match with the retro Big Show at WrestleMania 22. Then we'll have the current John Cena for his matches with The Rock at WrestleMania 27 and 28. Retro Kane is in there, presumably for his match with The Undertaker at WrestleMania 14. King Kong Bundy is in for his WrestleMania 2 Steel Cage match for the WWF Championship against Hulk Hogan. Then there's Macho Man Randy Savage, who is featured wearing his entrance attire from WrestleMania 3 when he faced off against Ricky Steamboat, but he could also be featured in matches at WrestleMania 4 versus the $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase, WrestleMania 5 versus Hulk Hogan, WrestleMania 7 versus The Ultimate Warrior, or WrestleMania 8 versus Ric Flair. So there's a lot of possibilities for Savage. Mick Foley is also in this year's game for the WrestleMania 2000 Fatal 4-Way match, along with The Big Show, Triple H and The Rock, as well as his WrestleMania 22 match with Edge. Randy Orton's model is more recent, but he could be used for WrestleMania 24's Triple Threat match with John Cena and Triple H, or WrestleMania 25 against Triple H, or WrestleMania 27 vs CM Punk, as his more recent opponents like Kane haven't been announced for this year's mode. The bad guy, Razor Ramon, makes his return to WWE games for his ladder match with Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 10. Ric Flair is included in both his retro and recent form to face Randy Savage at WrestleMania 8 and his WrestleMania 24 attire when he lost to Shawn Michaels, with the stipulation that he would have to retire if he lost. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat is included wearing his white attire for his match against the Macho Man Randy Savage at WrestleMania 3. Sergeant Slaughter comes complete with the Iraqi flag for his match against Hulk Hogan, also at WrestleMania 3. Shawn Michaels is set for his match with Ric Flair that I mentioned earlier, as well as the likely inclusion of his matches against The Undertaker, although there's no long-haired versions of Taker currently announced for the game. Shawn Michaels' retro model is also in for another match that I mentioned earlier, the famous ladder match with Razor Ramon from WrestleMania 10. Stone Cold comes next and could feature in a lot of matches, as his attire is always the same, so it doesn't really give any clues. But firstly, he could be featured against Bret Hart in a submission match that I had at WrestleMania 13 versus The Rock for the WWF Championship at WrestleMania 15, their rematch at WrestleMania X7, or their last match at WrestleMania 19. The $1 Million Man Ted DiBiase has his white suit from his WrestleMania 4 match against Randy Savage. The Miz has his recent Haters Heart Me shirt, but I'd presume that he'd be featured for his WWF Championship defense against John Cena at WrestleMania 27. The Rock is next without a beard, so I'd guess this is for his first match with Cena at WrestleMania 28. Then we'll have the Retro Rock for his matches with Stone Cold and the WrestleMania 2000 Fatal 4-Way. Moving on, and we'll have Triple H with his current shaven head look, which only really applies to his match at WrestleMania 29 with Brock Lesnar, as he had long hair for his match with Taker at WrestleMania 28, but maybe they'll have a long-haired alternate attire in for that match. However, there is a retro Triple H, and again, as with the Big Show, Rock and Austin, this should be for WrestleMania 2000's Fatal 4-Way match, but it could also be used for the Undisputed Championship match against Chris Jericho at WrestleMania X8, or his WrestleMania 21 match against Batista. The Undertaker in his current form with his shaven head comes next, so it would appear that this is his model for the Hell in a Cell match with Triple H at WrestleMania 28 with Shawn Michaels as the guest referee, and of course he could also be featured for his WrestleMania 29 match against CM Punk. Then there's also the retro version of Taker, complete with his old school purple gloves, hat and tie, so it looks like we'll see two of his early WrestleMania matches against King Kong Bundy at WrestleMania 11 and Diesel at WrestleMania 12. Personally, I'm surprised the American Badass model wasn't also shown, as they could have used this model for Taker's match against Triple H at WrestleMania X7 or X8 against Ric Flair. Then there's also the missing Attitude Era Taker that could have went up against Retro Kane at WrestleMania 14, or the long-haired version of Taker's current model to face Shawn Michaels at WrestleMania 25 and 26. So unless they announce these versions as being included at a later date, then I'm kinda surprised that there's not more Taker matches included. This year's pre-order bonus is up next, the Ultimate Warrior, who is dressed for the Ultimate Challenge match with Hulk Hogan at WrestleMania 6, but there's also the possibility of his WrestleMania 7 match with Randy Savage that Ultimate Warrior won and actually forced Savage to retire. As for his match against Triple H at WrestleMania 12, there's no Hunter Hearst Helmsley model being announced for the game, so it doesn't look like this will be included. Finally, we'll have Yokozuna, who has his WrestleMania 9 attire for his WWF Championship match against Bret Hart, which, after winning, he was then challenged by Hulk Hogan and lost the title, leaving him with one of the shortest ever WWE title reigns. Yokozuna's manager, Mr. Fuji, also played a big role in this match, so it'll be interesting to see if 2K include him alongside Yokozuna, like they did in Legends of WrestleMania. So that's the rundown of this year's roster, and I think it looks amazing so far, and that's not just the names themselves but also the addition of giving more superstars entrance attires, which I think is a really nice touch. There's not many stars had entrance attires previously, so it's good to see that 2K have started to add them. Then there's also the other little things like Ricardo Rodriguez holding the bucket during Alberto Del Rio's entrance, which it is a little thing, but it shows that 2K is paying attention to the little details, and that really does count. So let me know what you think of what we've seen so far and the matches that I've mentioned, as a lot of these look to be locked in for the 30 Years of WrestleMania mode. And you know, I think there's a good variety of matches here, and it doesn't look to be too Undertaker specific as I'd guessed that it would be. So hopefully you enjoyed this video. It took a lot of time to research the matches, but I got there in the end. So thanks for taking the time to watch.